this. There's a difference between jealousy and envy. See, envy is like, it's more about like coveting, right? I want your stuff, I want your life. Where jealousy is more about like possessing something. Envy is the one sin that is actually like no fun. Like if you look at lust, you look at greed, it's like, oh, those people could actually have some fun, right? But envy is kind of one of the things that you're like, you're never gonna have much fun in it. Like the litmus test of how we love our neighbor though, is can we bless them? Can we bless others? Can we encourage others? Can we champion and celebrate other people's wins and promote them versus shriveling inside when someone else is winning? So here's the question. What's the solution to this? How do we fight this? How do we win against any of these sins, but against envy in particular? Well, we do the opposite. We don't focus on the sin that messes us up, right? Listen, the only time I've ever tripped in my house and fallen is when I was trying not to. Honestly, my daughter was about 9 months old, my first daughter, and I was trying to run a bath for her. And it was a weird situation. The town that we lived in, all the water that was coming through the taps was brown. So I didn't want to bathe her in this weird brown water, even though they said it was totally fine. So what I did, stupid, is I went and filled up a kettle and I hit it and it would boil hot. And I'd go to this is actually a true story. So those of you who are like, what are you, this does not sound like a good plan. I would take this boiling hot kettle and I would pour it in my bathtub. And then I'd go and I'd put another kettle on and it would boil and I'd pour it in my bathtub. Thinking to myself, once the bathtub's half full, like enough to, bathe Sienna, then it'll be cooled down. So I fill this thing halfway full. And no joke, never in my life have I tripped into water. This thing is boiling hot still, and I'm carrying the last boiling hot kettle of water, and I trip over the mat, and I go full bore, 2 full arms, right into boiling hot water, like in my arms. I jumped out, and we had community group coming over that night, and I spent the night with both my arms in freezing cold bowls of water, just ice up to my elbows, just like, hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my house. Grab a cookie, let's talk about the Bible. Because I was like, why did I do that? Because I overthought it. I was focused on the wrong thing. I overly focused on, gotta do this, and it made me nervous, and I tripped up in the face of it. So what do we need to do? Probably not just focus on the sin of envy and go, I gotta well up in myself and not actually be envious anymore. No. Like every sin we're talking about, you gotta love Jesus more than you love the sin. You gotta understand that when your soul gets overwhelmed by the beauty and the grace of God in Jesus Christ, you will stop envying because you will know who you are and what God has called you to and nobody else. See, contentment is actually the key. Like the only way to defeat these sins is not to focus always on beating that sin, but to love Jesus more than it. And then kindness starts to well out of you, and a desire for good things to come to other people starts to come out of you because you know that you're beloved. And so we must actually grow in our charity in our hearts for everyone around us, even if it means we don't benefit, right? That's what fights envy. Like you not only feel that you deserve that person's state of life, but that they don't quite deserve their own state. That's kind of what gets in your brain. And if that's true, then you can't truly love them. As the Bible says, you love yourself. You're supposed to love them as you love yourself. So your discontentment then extends toward God because he's the one who has blessed that person in the way that you wanted blessing. And because you're discontent with the amount of blessing that God has given you, you also fail to love him with all that you are. See, envy is sinful because it says that God is not good enough for you and that you can't be truly happy with how God blesses you because it's not enough.